Good morning, guys, and it's Ricky, and I have some more news. And it looks like Papa Bush has been set free by the High Court in Lilongwe. Now, if you're wondering what is happening, yesterday I posted a video, which is the video about salvation works and all that entire jazz. And so we kind of like broke it down on that particular episode. If you haven't seen it, please do go check it out. That video did take a minute, and the amount of time that video took actually didn't even allow me to have enough strength to do any other particular video, which, if you're asking yourself which video, it's this video right here, where I did an entire chart thingy that took a minute and a half to compile that. So go check it out. It'll be down in the pinned comments. It was a study on where works come in when it comes to salvation. So if you want that clarity, go check it out. So on the comment section of that video, someone came in and said, Ricky, you gotta check out what the news is saying about Papa Bush. And I was like, hey, there's news about Papa Bush. Papa Bush has news and I didn't know. So looks like the headlines read as follows. Yeah, it's a lot. The headlines read as follows, saying, High Court, Malawi High Court sets aside Bushiri and wife's extradition. And that's it. So basically, in simple terms, they are saying, y'all don't got to go and answer for nothing. Or at least the judgment. They are speaking so of the judgment that was made. You could put it like that. And so, says the High Court has set aside the court, Malawi's High Court, overturned the lower court's ruling. And so you'll remember the lower court's ruling was that Papa Bush and his wife should come back to South Africa, be extradited to come and answer for the cases that are down here. Now remember, an extradition hearing and the whole nine jazz, it's all about determining, I repeat, the purpose of an extradition is to determine that there is a case to answer. Okay? Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because Papa Bush's children right now, they might be in celebratory mode and all that. You know, innocence. This doesn't say innocence. All it says is that they spoke to the... what is it that the judge saw? What is it that the judge saw? And so, let's get back to the subject matter. The case that was being presented before the court in Malawi by South Africa is to prove that there is a case. That's all. It's not a whole case evidence thing, which you will find that's exactly the position Bushiri and his lawyers went. They went the route of, we didn't go to have our say. Yeah, this is not a trial. It's not supposed to be that. All the extradition is supposed to prove is that there is a case. That's all. Just for Papa Bush's kids that want to be starting to celebrate and all that. Y'all chill with that. Okay? Y'all chill with that. So we get back to the news on the Citizen. This was written by the Citizens, by the way. So it says there, Papa Bush appearing on 2020, this particular picture, that's when it was taken. And so the lower court ruled that that they should be extradited back to South Africa has been overthrown by the High Court, right? Which is what they were appealing. Recently, you might remember that I did come here, made an episode saying what was the whole thing about, what was happening currently. We had not seen anything, or we knew that there was supposed to be a hearing in September towards October, and there wasn't much to be said there. So this is now what we now have. So the High Court in Lilongwe has set aside the Chief Justice ruling on 12 March, ruling on Friday. That ruling had ordered that the extradition of self-proclaimed prophet, and so they should be brought to South Africa. That was a judge from their own country who said there is a case. So that's why I'm kind of bringing it up here, is that we need to understand and we need to explain it to Papa Bush's kids. What exactly is the purpose of the extradition hearing? Is that they are supposed to be there to just prove that there is a case that they have to go and answer to. And it goes on, it says that the court ruled, the magistrate decided to extradite. It does not follow from the president, he left the country, absconding, bail hearing, what? Like that alone should say, yeah, I'll send the man them back. In what country is it okay for a person to have a bail hearing, be granted bail, and they say, he's not a flight risk, and he becomes a flight risk, and it becomes okay? That's a weird one. The magistrate locked and dismissed the request entirely for the reasons explained above. The ruling said dismissed on the grounds of good standing, on starting on good standing. So basically they couldn't plead their own part according to them. That's all that's the whole thing. If you go down with reading with this entire thing, they kind of list out what the case is. They were given bail, they abscond, they ran away, and then currently where we are right now, right? So they kind of make that entire thing. So now, whether the question is whether this will be appealed, that stands to be heard. If Bushiri's do, then they are by the Interpol, so their information handed over for the international police, and if they move to another country, will go and look for them and bring them back. So that was what they were saying, that, so possibly they are still bound in Malawi. They can't go nowhere. The Mandams are Malawi bound right now. No Dubai vacations. No, none of that stuff. You can't go Dubai. You can't go chill with other children in the rivers, whatever y'all be doing. And so they are. The very weird thing. I was listening to a clip from Newsroom yesterday, and they were kind of like trying to break down this whole thing, and they were saying pretty much exactly what I'm saying. It's not a court. It's not a trial. You having your hearing or you being heard says nothing. The point of the extradition hearing is to determine there is a case. That's all it's supposed to do. But similarly, you can see what has been. South Africa has been taking L's. We've been taking the L's. We've been taking L's and L's and L's. We had Omotoso came here, did whatever he wanted, poof, gone. What happened over there? Bushiri, gone. I wash my hands. But I once mentioned on one other episode concerning this particular whole subject, and I mentioned if your peers cannot correct you, like if mankind, you see, the beauty about being corrected by your fellow man down here on earth is that you got to fix yourself up so that you are in the right positioning for God's judgment. Because there is no pleading. Here, you can plead, you can repent, you can turn. But if you do not get yourself used to being corrected here, to a point where even when it is absolute, like this, it's over me. This one is over me. On an episode, I did mention there is an aspect of looking at justice where we should not be deluded. As a matter of fact, I think even in a recent episode where we were talking about those young girls passing in Mamelodi, I mentioned it in that episode that sometimes when you listen to activists and stuff like that, you tend to you be given a wrong view. Not that you're not going to be safe, but then they make safety as if it's guaranteed. They make it as if, you never face any wrong. Nobody will do you any wrong ever. It will never happen. But what that does is that it kind of sets us up. It sets us up for disappointment. This is a fallen world with a fallen system, with a system that runs on its own wheels, going haywire towards God knows what. Good and expecting everyone to do right by you is just not how this works. This is a collapsed system. Right now we function under Roman rule, and we know that by eschatology breakdowns, that system runs all the way until the period of the Antichrist, all the way towards the end. The system that they built, the system that's corrupt, that allows all these loopholes and thingy for such an obvious subject matter, becomes so complex you don't even know where, how is this difficult? Because human systems just do not match up. So there is a way, there is a place where you see God's system at hand. This is why when Pilate turned around, looked at Jesus and said, you're a king of the Jews, and then he says, my kingdom is not of this world. God's kingdom is not of this world. So the kingdoms you see being set up here, they are their own. This is why when you read in Revelation, the Bible speaks so highly of kings and nations that give their honor or their glory to God, that share their splendor towards the glory of God. They take everything that they have and they post it up to God, towards God. Now that's a very difficult subject for many people. Yeah, the Bible does speak about nations' glory, a glory of the nations going up to God, and they gave glory towards God. And so that's in the book of Revelation towards later on chapters. And so you see this viewpoint. Why? Because why does it become important? When you see things like this, you now understand where does it come from. It's because the system from which they come from is that dead corrupt. There comes a point where each and every one of us, honor towards God, becomes such a prize. It's so important we have our eyes on him, because down here there is no telling what it becomes. If we sit waiting for the world to make a judgment that will be on our side, we might sit forever. But only God knows those particular areas. It's the Reality Show. We do daily Christian commentary videos. Other episodes done today, they be down in the pinned comment. It is God who is our hope and our final judge. The judges down here, maybe they might not. Maybe they'll see it this way, maybe they'll see it that way. It's just all over. At the end of the day, we know God gets his. Don't get that twisted. Do not get that twisted. Running away from the system down here, that's a small part of your problems. There is a system from which there is no pleading. You can't plead your case there. In that case, there is no pleading. There is no sympathetic, nothing. It's this or nothing. He rules with a rod of iron over there. But down here, maybe they will appeal, they will not appeal. But remember, justice rests in the hand of God. It's Ricky. I'll tell me your thoughts down in the comment section. Yeah, no, we've been taking a couple of L's in South Africa, so it's okay. We'll continue taking the L's. At this point, we are just used. Okay, next L. Next L. It's Ricky. Yeah, have a blessed day. Salute.